Okay, I'm going to show you how to install and use Logicmoo utilities. This is might be something that goes into playing with Prolog. So first of all, we're going to start Swivel. Going to list the packs installed. Okay, we have no extra packs. This is a new user called Learner. So we are going to install Logicmoo utilities. Okay, usually default choice is a good choice. This is saying that it depends on a couple other packs. So we're going to say press enter to choose one. Also, right now predicate streams is on HTTP instead of HTTPS, so it's redirecting. Yes. Okay, so now Logicmoo utilities are installed. Okay, right now we're going to use Logicmoo utilities. So let's here CLS. Let's run Swivel, and now first I'm going to show you xlisting. That's one of my favorite things. In order to use Logicmoo utilities, you should probably use module. And here it is, Logicmoo utilities. Okay. Now what this is going to do is give us a predicate called xlisting. Before I do xlisting, I'm going to load a program into memory. We're going to call it we're going to load my program into the my program module. This was written by William on IRC. This module we're just using it as a test program. So let's do a listing on the program. There it is. Okay, so this has various clauses. So what xlisting is it's about finding clauses. Like notice here we've got E2 here and we have E2 here. And so what we want to do, let's say we wanted to find all predicates that had the E2, yeah, it's in my history. Xlisting E2. What this is going to do is a listing, but it's going to give us a listing of E2 probably. This is what it should do. And remind us that E4 is using. So the X stands for cross-reference listing of E2. And there we go. So this tells us where on disk it was used. So xlisting, that's probably a pretty useful utility. Another useful thing it's for is for finding code. Like, let's say we're wondering where shell 1 is used in the system right now. Okay, so let's say we're looking for places that are calling shell 1. So looks like pop D in shell. Also here. Also, it's not just finding, it's finding any place where shell 1 is used anywhere in the system. So like part of Logicmoo utilities uses a little startup thing called shell format. So we know it's referenced there. We know it's referenced in all these different places. This is like a quick command line cross-referencer that you'll use whenever you're, that way you don't have to start the cross-referencer to find something. Now also, shell 2 is another thing that's used in the system. So what we want to do is we want to do xlisting of all shell anythings. Okay, so this found, shell 2 is used here, and here, and here. So this tells us, it's a little cross-referencer to tell us where something's used. It also can find cross-reference things that are asserted from the dynamic database. So let's try something like into my program. Well, actually, let's get a listing of my program real quick so we remember what it's at. Okay, let's add another clause like E3 is going to also call E2. So we're going to into my program assert this is actually unscripted, so we'll find out if I might have a small bug here. We'll find out though. E3 is going to call E2 of X. E2 of X. do? Oh, okay. Let's just make something like E30 then. Okay, now let's do a listing of my program. Okay, there it is on, I call it E30. Okay, now let's do a listing of E2 again. Oh, so now it finds it there as well. This case, when it decompiles, it actually gives the module. That's interesting. I had forgotten. So that's one thing we found. Also, it tries to see if E2 is a predicate. If so, it gives us a little bit more information in listing. So here's the difference between xlisting and listing. E2. Okay. E2 just tells us about this, whereas xlisting tells us a little bit more information, like about where it's used and so forth. So xlisting, I use that as well as listing, and it really speeds up my development process. Okay, on to the next tool.